Well, hello again from the Granite State. My name is Gary, and this is the Restoring Main Street podcast. Thank you for joining me. Tonight, this is going to be more of a casual discussion, casual talk. Casual in that I don't really have an outline. This is all off the cuff, how I feel. Some questions and some things that I just want to ask you, and hopefully get a response, get you to share some of your feelings and thoughts about some of these things, and and basically see where it takes us. So it's just me and you sitting here, and the good news is I'm not sure how this is going to go. And I say good news because I'm hopeful, because it's coming straight from the heart, and like I said, it's not scripted, that it's something genuine. And the good news is that I'm recording this, so if for some reason I don't see a relevance in this, you'll never see this recording. But if you do, then I guess after rewatching this, I felt that there was something redeemable about what I recorded, what I talked about. So we'll see how that goes. What I'd like to do now is what I normally do, and that's pull you all in a little tighter with the webcam. So bear with me, because I'm a one-man show here. So. And there we go. So I guess what's on my mind, what I've been thinking about, is there's tons of different subjects and directions that I can go with this podcast. I don't have an overseer. I don't have somebody dictating to me what I can talk about, what we can discuss. So, like I've shared in the past with this podcast, that a lot of what Restoring Main Street is about is taking a look at the environment around us. And like I said, I hearken back to the days when I was a whole lot younger. I remember what Main Street looked like in my small little town of Rochester, New Hampshire. Excuse me. And I knew what that felt like. I remember the safety that I felt. I didn't have a concern about going downtown. My parents didn't have a concern about me hopping on my 10-speed and heading anywhere in the city of Rochester, even though there were, and this is back in the late 60s, early 70s, there were, portions of town that you might want to be careful in. But for the most part, I felt, like I said, very safe. And now, with everything that's happening around us, and I know anybody that's watching this is going to be very mindful about what I'm suggesting here, that, and I know this is going to sound very old to people, but I feel times have changed. I feel like things around us are changing at an extremely rapid rate, especially now. There are so many topics that I want to get into that fall into that frame of mind of Restoring Main Street. So maybe this podcast, for however long it goes, is just a further clarification of some of those things. Why I want to talk about certain topics, the directions that I want to go in, and the people that I want to bring on and have share their ideas and their opinions as well. Just, to outline a few things that I plan on talking about in the very near future, if not the next podcast. Critical race theory. I think that's extremely dangerous and destructive to our society. what's happening with our debt. We seem to think that we can just continue to spend money and continue to print pieces of paper that are supposed to be worth something. But when you don't have anything backing those pieces of paper, how long before you print too many and that paper is only worth starting a couple logs in your fireplace if you have the logs or a fireplace to actually start a fire in? So there's a lot of topics, like I said, that I want to cover, things that just concern me. And I have to believe that if they concern me, they concern you as well. So from a perspective where I think that we're not always getting all the facts, all the sides of a story, I think a lot of times whatever you're used to watching or used to listening to, where you're comfortable getting your information, I would hope, I'd wish, and I think we've lost a little bit of this, that we've lost a little bit of our critical thinking skills as a society. I think some of us, very much still think critically or question things. But I wonder how much of us, what percentage, have started to just accept things, to not question things, and we're not allowed to be inquisitive anymore. It's one of the other things that kind of concerns me. Social media, good or bad. Like I was speaking with a friend the other night, social media, like anything, started out with the very, very best of intentions, I believe anyway. And like anything that we as humans touch or get involved in, there's always that chance that it could be used for good or it could be used for bad things. And right now, my concern about social media is the silencing of voices, about those companies deciding what we're allowed to discuss in a public forum. That was set up to be that new, what do I want to say, center of town, the new town crier, the new place where people would meet and have a much larger platform, potentially reach a whole lot more people and be able to have those meaningful discussions about things we're concerned about. That was fantastic English. But those are the topics, those are the things that kind of really, they really bother me. And I'm just wondering how many of you out there feel the same way. How many of you, a lot of these things you see, not that you just don't, it doesn't gel with you, something doesn't seem right, that bothers you, that we're not allowed to talk about it, except in private settings by ourselves, that, the mob has gotten to the point where it's okay to publicly shame people on social media for, what they believe or their opinions. All of that, like I said, very much concerns me. And I'd like to think it concerns a good portion of you as well. So I guess what I'm really asking in a roundabout way, and like I said, trying to fill in the gaps of what Restoring Main Street is about and what future podcasts are going to look like. My question to you is, what do you believe in? What concerns you? What, if any, of the things that I've mentioned or other things, other subjects, things that you see going on now around you that make you inquisitive? Or are you afraid to ask those questions because of the chances of being canceled or somehow something getting back to your employer from your social media, and if you work at one of those places that might look at that and look upon you in a negative way, and could your job be compromised just because you have a different opinion and you want to share it? I am not afraid to say that I have a deep belief in God and Jesus Christ. And, people will hear that and say, oh, no, please don't get all preachy on me. And I have no intention to get preachy on anybody. I'm just not afraid to let people know that I believe. But I think when we've gotten to a point where we can't even talk about that or suggest that or have that discussion anymore, you don't have to. I would like you to, only because, like I said, I am a Christian and I do pray for other people's salvation, but I would like to think that just the basis of what Christianity talks about, the good things, the parameters and principles that it sets up, if you just want to use those as a good outline on how to live your life, what's wrong with having that discussion? Why are some of those things taboo? So again, like I said, I guess it harkens back to, what do you believe? What concerns you? What are some of the things that you'd like to hear, talked about on this program? I have plans unless something changes, and you never know, so they could. Having my friend Jay back on from the last podcast to talk about some other topics that he is much better versed in than I am. Where he's, like I said, spent time in the intelligence community and has a background. He has information that I am not privy to. So when I bring him on, going to in the future kind of let him take more control of the discussion, because he's coming from a place of knowledge and understanding. And honestly, I'm like most of you. I'm trying to learn more. I'm trying to pay attention, because I think, like I said, all of these things are very important. I worry about the loss of liberties in this country based on fear, based on what we're going through now with the COVID virus and the way fear has played into a lot of what we're doing or not doing related to that. And I guess the saddest thing that I can say in response to that is it bothers me how much this has been politicized or used in that way. Like I said, so this is, this could be a subject that we get into at some point. And like I said, my friend Jay has, like I said, a much better background in all of this than I do. He has time spent, and that's basically what he does for a living. Is he's an analyst. And so when I have him on, like I said, I am going to acquiesce to him and try to ask pertinent questions so that we can hopefully, from critical thinking, inquisitive perspective, maybe find out some more interesting information together. And then there are going to be other individuals that I end up bringing on the program that are just honestly just friends, just average everyday people, friends with some pretty interesting personalities. And honestly, it's just so that perhaps we can have what I call a common man's conversation about things, get people's opinions, share ideas and, pieces of knowledge that we do have, but just have a serious discussion like I said, on a very easy, common level, without getting too convoluted and too, hopefully, mired in the weeds. So that's a majority of what I'm looking to do, like I said, in upcoming podcasts and those types of things. So I guess, what do you get from this, if you've stuck around this long? I'm looking for, like I said, as most podcasts are, looking for participation. Looking to get your opinions. Looking to hear about perhaps what concerns you. When we discuss anything, so part of all of this is having a bigger discussion about certain topics. And like I said, I plan on going back and forth with guests more often, hopefully, than just myself. I enjoy that type of a forum. To me, I think you get more out of it. I don't view myself as someone to carry a full podcast for an hour or more. Like I said, I'm just an average person. I'm not some scholar, but like I said, I do have some concerns, and I think they're meaningful concerns. I think, like I said, if we'd all get back to a little more critical thinking, or a larger majority of the country, I'd like to believe, like I said, a lot of my concerns are yours as well. So that's it. This isn't, didn't plan this to be any kind of a lengthy thing. Like I said, this is totally unscripted and off the cuff. So I hope you've got something out of it. I hope it maybe causes you to pause and think, and perhaps you would, if I do post this, that you would comment, that perhaps you would ask questions, or maybe you'd have some concerns or suggestions about things that you'd want to hear discussed. My friend Jay, like I said, with his background, if you have questions about things that are concerning you, that are going on around us in the United States, and much more a larger scope of globally, offer up those questions, comment, send them in to me. Like I said, I post this podcast on Rumble, Restoring Main Street on Rumble. I posted on Restoring Main Street on YouTube. I also set up something on BitChute. That's BITCHUTE for those of you that have never been there. But there's a Restoring Main Street post there. So any podcasts that I do going forward, I will put those in those places for you to view. Because I'm not sure what anybody's preference is. It still seems to be pretty much, a lot of people go to YouTube. And I will also, because I have limited space on my website, on the Restoring Main Street actual website, restoringmainstreet.com, I will remove the last podcast and replace it with the newest version for you to go there as well. Would really love to see people start, checking out, like I said, the Restoring Main Street page, restoringmainstreet.com. I have contributors there, other individuals that writing articles for the website itself. A lot of that, like I said, is going kind of slow right now because all of it's voluntary. Like I said, this is all extra. I have a Monday through Friday right now. At some point, I would love for this to be my everyday, all the time thing. It would allow me to, dig deeper into things, subjects, have longer discussions perhaps, and maybe get to a format that's, like a lot of other podcasts that I'd first like to get it to be something that's weekly. Maybe if we can ramp up and get enough content and things to talk about, or getting people together to talk about some of these subjects. Maybe it's something that could end up being a Monday through Friday daily thing. Who knows? But the main reason I did all of this, like I said, is out of my own concerns. And I'm hoping some of the things that concern me concern you as well. I'd just like to involve all of you in the discussion. And I pray that you see that the same way that I do and are willing to participate. So I will leave it there. I'm sure this has been long enough for all of you. Like I said, I'm going to go back and review this and see if I feel it's worthy of posting. I feel like maybe it was. I'd be curious to see what you think. Get your comments as well. So from the Granite State, as I always say in parting, if any of you have watched this program a few times, and I have, like I said, a handful, maybe a half a dozen or more postings at YouTube. God, freedom, and family. Because I sincerely believe if we lose the first two, that our families truly are doomed. So thank you for giving me a few minutes. Thank you for spending some time. God bless.